Hello everyone, and welcome to the top 10 worst reborns on Miner's Haven. Let's get it right now. Start. Number 10 will be a tie between the Northern Lights and the Igneous Forge, just because they do the same thing, just in different stupid ways. Now essentially, they are powered by coal. This one is powered by sparkling coal. The problems with it is that you have to make a setup in order for your furnace to be more effective. And the thing is, it's not even worth it. This gives around, I think, around 10,000 when it's fully charged, and this shows its multiplier right here with this many coal mines. This one's even worse than the Northern Lights, but it has a cheaper process, I suppose. Both of them are completely just not good. Obsolete, garbage, crap. Because, first off, they're rare, and good, because you don't want them. And second, you get them way too late in the game for it to even be like a thought. It's just like, well, I could use this furnace if it was maybe a 1 million, billion, trillion times 1,000 multiplier. But it's not, so I think I'm just going to do that with it and replace it with a basic furnace. I think that would honestly be a better investment because, at least with this, it's smaller. You know, you don't have to build a setup for it. And it gives you money, so... And the Igneous Forge is just as bad, if not more bad, because it's just coal. Coal. The dark magic is even almost better than just that simple multiplier I had with it. And you don't have to build a setup of coal for it. So that means you can have more ores running and not worry about lag death with your furnace. So enjoy that. Number 9 will be the Guardian of the Gate. Just because I don't see much of a reason to use it versus other furnaces that exist. Essentially what it does is that it's 20 times and it's 200 times when you're away from your base. Now here's the thing. Most of the time when you're in these early lives, you're going to be rebirthing, at least not slowly. So I don't think you want to be just on the other side of the map while this thing's just running. And second of off, I don't think that's right. But secondly, there is just better options, because, I mean, the dark magic exists, and it does 2 times less, obviously, than this would at its peak. Or, at the very least, a quarter less, but 4 times isn't a ton when you're talking, like, a whole setup. When you're talking a whole setup, everything matters. The furnace is one of the afterthoughts. So, to have something that makes you have to go away from it in order to be effective, it's like, I'm good. Number 8 is the Ambrosia Fountain. What this thing does is that you need to have your ore be alive for a while in order for it to be more than ×1, basically. Now, it looks good. Somehow that still gets a ×3 multiplier. Both of these get a ×3 multiplier, so that should give you an idea of how long you need your ore to last. If we were to have an ore like this one to live considerably longer, it gives a whopping, $7 or $9. I had this loop for a while, probably a full minute or two, and it gave like 10 to 15 times, which is complete trash considering how long you'd have to have it last. That, and you need to be life 25 to get it, which... I mean, the Dreamers might exist. That might even give you more, and it's not even that great of a furnace. Number 7 will be the Solar Flare. Now, the reason this thing is as trashy as it is because it has a fixed value of not terrible times. Like, you get at life 10, so, I mean, 25 times, not bad. I think that's a little worse than the Dreamers might at its max. I mean, at least you don't have to have a trillion worth of ore to get it at that point. However, the night one is what really does it. The night one has a mixed multiplier of 30 times or 50 times all the way to 1 times. And it's like, do you really want to take that risk of it being a trash one? Now, this thing does change, and I will show that off, but I will show it off at a different point in this video if you all really are curious to know if it does that. I'm going to buy a few more of these. But yeah, it's a fixed value of 25 times during the daytime. And it's just bad during the night, at least. I mean, I've never used this furnace. I've got it. I rebirthed. I got it. I looked at it. I saw how much it gave, and then I was just like, oh, all right. Put it back in my inventory, withdrew it, never used it again. Number 6 is a mine. The Scorpion mine. Oh, what isn't wrong about these? Let's start off with just the ore amount. Now, firstly, it's $0, then it's $1 million, then it's $2 million, and then it's $3 million. Oh, $5 million. Whoa, it's getting so much better. It's already at $10 million. But here's the thing. Are your setups really going to be that long and tedious that you would have to wait 5 or like 10 to 15 minutes to rebirth when this thing exists? Oh, billions. Oh. Do I want this thing that looks like a vegetable giraffe? Or this that looks like God? I think I'll take the Newtonian mine. Long story short, it takes a long time to get worthwhile money. Here's another example of something that I just never used ever. The Blind Justice. Now, it is a cell furnace that works with all mines, not just specific ones. So you have this Newtonian mine here, and it's like, oh, quintillions, you know. Usually you'd get billions. You can't use this on a cell furnace normally, so it's like, oh, that's alright. But the problem with this is the life you get this at. Or rather, the portion of the game you get it at. You get it at the end game. It's a life 250 requirement. At that point, you're going to have plenty of items to use that will completely just bury this thing in the dirt. This thing you will get, use for a second, say, alright, and then do that. Because you're going to have things that just blow it out of the water at that point. Good idea, but its life requirement should be smaller for it to actually come into use. Because I don't think you're going to be using the Blind Justice very much to get your money to start. I mean, you can use it to get your money to start, but it's like the Anguish also exists, and that might get you more. But other than that, I mean, yeah, it's existing. If you guys are curious, here's how much it gets from the Gargantuan mine. The best mine in the game. At least, money speaking. You get 10 nonillion from the Blind Justice. That's pretty good. Still not something you would ever use ever in a million years. Smell my nose. Number 4 is a very sketchy looking cell furnace. Now, the problem with this is at this point you'd probably have a couple of Nature's Grips. And this thing isn't that much better than a Nature's Grip. So why would you try and ore launch your ores into a just death trap looking thing rather than just placing them in the Nature's Grip, which is arguably better and better looking. So I'm good. I think I'd rather use this rather than that mouth. There we go. 14 quintillion versus the odd 1 to 2 quintillion. I think I would take the more basic one for something that, you know, would work more often. I mean, I just prefer the Nature's Grip over this, so I'll just stick with this. I mean, it doesn't give you that much more money, which is the main problem with it. Also, this is how much money the thing can give you. There, you saw 40 times there for a second. No, you didn't, because I got too little footage of it, but there you go. There it is. Number 3 is this pile of trash. Basically, you have a short setup. Don't use this thing, because it won't work. It has a super fast conveyor. I just realized that. Looks nice, but the problem with it is that you can get it at life 1, and if you do, you basically should just quit the game. I mean, that's what you should do. It basically gives like an odd like 5 to 6 times or so. But here's the problem. It could be either 5 seconds that you get that upgrade, or as long as 10 minutes, I think, in order to get that upgrade. So this is a $2 ore. I got $2. I got $2 again. I got more than $2. Except I didn't. Now, let me give this thing a little bit more room to see if we can get one of the ores to get an upgrade. $2. $2. $2. So your setup needs to be longer than a tadpole's tail in order to possibly get some money going. But, which is very, very, very possible when you get this thing at life 1. But maybe, definitely not at least when you first start, and by the time you reach Schrodingerville, are you even going to remember you have this thing? Because it's that useless that early on. Oh, we got one. That was 5.5 times, because it was $11. We got one ore to hit that upgrade. The last two items on this list are not only useless, but they're actually detrimental. Number 2, the Ancient Temple. Now, the thing about this upgrader is that it's pretty decent in the early portion of the game. But once you get into the late portion of the game, it doesn't really do a whole lot. Now, in this example, it's given like 4 times to the ores. I don't even think it gives that much once you get down to Schrodingerville. And if you're at this point in the game, it does nothing. So octillions, this just get out of your setup. It's just a waste of space. That is the only example I think I really need to give this item for it to be not very useful. Now obviously you get this at life 1. You can get it as early as life 1. So it's not made to be something that you would be using to get octillions with. But not many items you could just say have that useless effect. Because at least with, you know, something like that Blind Justice, you can still get money from it. But with this, you wouldn't be able to. And I could have swore it even gave $0 to some ores, which it still could. I mean, it could have just been not expensive enough. But that's the reason it's number 2. Oh, what's that smell? I can smell the trash all the way from here. The number 1 worst reborn in Miner's Haven is the Eternal Journey. What's the problem with it? You have a great setup. You're using it. It's beautiful. It's amazing. It's even, you know, it's rich in taste. And then you put this at the end of it. What do you get? You get a mine that can only use... Basically, it takes 1 ore and super swolls it and just kills any other ore that's coming. The problem with it, it's not super swole. It's like 200 times and it kills any other ore that's coming. So if you have a ton of them, it's useless. You generally don't have very few ores in a setup, so it's still useless. And the thing is, why wouldn't you just use something like this, which gives almost the same amount, but it doesn't kill your ores? It's like, what? That is the only example I need to show for you to know that it deserves to be number 1, because it's actually detrimental to your setup. And if you get it and are excited about using it, don't be, because you just got a waste of a reborn. Did you agree with my list? If you didn't, just give me your list of the top 10 reborn bads or goods, or give me challenges to do, because Miner's Haven, good for you, I guess, maybe. XD question mark, laugh out loud, smiley face. Now, you know, I'll see you later, I think.